No, your eyes do not deceive you. This is in fact my kitchen counter. The new Nerf cave is not quite up to snuff yet, and when I say that, I mean it's flippin' cold out there, and I don't have a heater for it quite yet. So, we're gonna have to make do with the kitchen counter for a little bit. But, that doesn't mean I don't want to talk about something that's been annoying me for the past couple of days. And that is dual-wielding or single-wielding a blaster, i.e. the hammer shot. The hammer shot has been a thorn in my side for quite some time because I have used it extensively in Nerf wars, and when I say that I mean Dart Wars, of course, and have had nothing but problems with it, and I honestly would never rely on this thing ever. But a lot of you swear by it, and a lot of you come up with a lot of interesting excuses why you must use the hammer shot. And in the end of the day, we're talking about foam-flinging toys here, and when it comes down to if you only had to have one, I mean, the hammer shot's a really attractive option. It is a really nice-looking blaster, and again, it has the functionality of being shot one-handed. That being said, there are times where I keep saying the strong arm is a better blaster. It is overall a better secondary, because not only do you have the single shot, but you have the dual wield, and if you want to mod it all the way, you can have a super fast reload on top of having the extra dart. It's just more flexible of a secondary. And when I say that, and this is again covering my secondary video, I want my secondary to cover something my primary can't do. If I'm using a rampage, chances are I don't really want to use something like this, because this is just an extension of my primary. It's the same thing, it's covering the same bases pretty much, it's just less effective at all of them. While I'd probably carry something like this, because chances are if somebody's going to rear their head, there's nothing stopping me from having this in a thigh holster, and when somebody shows up and I need to take care of them, whipping this out, firing once, and making sure they are gone. That's something that Sledgefire is very good at, and this is one of my most deadly blasters at Dart Wars. You cannot dodge the spread on this thing most of the time, and it is hilarious to pop over a box and just point it at someone. They're gone. So much fun, but a lot of you are you just medically need to have a hammer shot. You can't use anything else. And you have to have all these excuses to why you need to have this, and I'm going to answer some of those excuses today. Such as, well, what if I'm running around with my primary and it has an issue and I need to take out my secondary and shoot at someone? Well, again, bam, put that in my holster. There's pretty much nothing stopping me from doing that. I could easily whip this out and shoot once. Now, oh my god, it's also not hard to do this. Holy crap, that's so hard, guys. I mean, I honestly can't think of a blaster I can't do that with. At all. Heck, I can almost slam fire it perfectly like that. But no, let's assume that that's not possible, and that if there's a problem with my primary and I have to draw my secondary and fire, and I have to fire more than once, why? Are there multiple people? Did I miss the first shot? Because in either situation, I'm probably boned. Think about that for a second, because let's assume the guy that's coming after me, his primary works. Let's make that assumption, because he's probably going to wreck you. And you may get your one shot off, take him with you, but if his primary is working, you're probably gone. Now, what if, let's say you have to have it because your primary is a motorized blaster and you need to have the quiet on it. Well, yeah, that works. So does this. It's a little bit louder. But let's assume for a second that I'm not a complete idiot and I'd also have something like this. I could have a burst wave. I could even have a crossbolt because those aren't very big at all. And heck, those use magazines, but I'd rather have something I could scavenge with and not rely on magazines anyway. But there are a wide variety of uses. And at that point, go for you, but there's like 17,000 other blasters you can use at that point anyway. One of the major things is that people will say that they can't put down their primary. They have to hold their primary and use this. Why? A sling can cost you virtually nothing. You can make one out of duct tape perfectly tailored to you in a few minutes, for virtually pennies. The idea that you can't use a sling blows my mind. If you are in a situation that you would call a Nerf war, and not just, hey Timmy, let's go out in the backyard and shoot each other with our Nerf guns, then you should be able to get a sling. You should be able to make one. If I'm going to HVZ, let's say there's an HVZ in Tacoma or something, and I need to go there and play in it. I'm not going to show up there without a sling. In fact, my main blaster is always going to be on a sling. I might actually have more than one sling. In fact, I may have two. For I want to have two slinged blasters. I want to have two different things I could rely on to pull up as my primary. But let's assume that, I'm grabbing the flag, and I need to be able to shoot one-handed while holding that flag. If I ever see you on my team, grab the objective that has to be moved back towards our base, and I see you, I'm gonna shoot you. Because you shooting is not your concern at that point. Your concern is running. My concern is shooting. Don't let them worry about blank, let me worry about blank, because I'm going to take care of blank. And if you're sitting there taking your time to shoot, I'm going to get pretty upset at you. So think about that. Now, dual wielding. What does this do for you? Virtually nothing. Now, it could be argued that the reason why we don't dual wield in real life is because it's dumb, because you would never trust your life to this, ever, in your life, unless you're an idiot. Because it only takes one bullet to potentially kill you, and it only usually takes one dart to get you out. But you can't really aim Nerf darts that much. Understandable. I do get that. But this weighs as much as this. And this weighs more than any lipode strife you could ever have. This is heavy. This is a considerable amount of weight and room to have in your person when you could just have a strife that does the same thing but better, gives you more firepower, and can also be used one-handed. Would I dual wield strifes? Probably in a heartbeat. Now, what are the practical uses in Nerf for dual wielding? Well, for one, I can shoot it two different directions. So let's assuming that they're like, hey, fatty, you're up. Cover these boxes while we rush forward. Okay, sir, I'll do that. I'm going to pop up, and I'm going to let you know that the end is coming, and you can smell what the rock's cooking, because I am going to sit there, and if anybody moves, you're getting a dart. And I'm going to do that with my strikes. Now, these, no, it's like, hold on, I got to reload. No, I'm done. At that point, I've gotten a blow dart stuck in my glasses, and I'm probably in the bathroom curing welts. It's just not going to work out for me. In real life, you wouldn't do it, and in Nerf, while you can do it, and it's super fun to do it, you probably wouldn't. Now, that's not to say you can't make, I'm going to do a cowboy loadout with a sling fire and two of these hammer shots. You can totally dual wield that, and that's totally fine. You can dual wield sling fires. It's been done. I've done it in a video. But it doesn't make it a very good idea. If you just want to have fun, go for it. But, I mean, if you're that guy at HVZ who's like, I'm dual wielding hammer shots and I am the law, then you're going to get your shit wrecked, son. And you're probably going to be out within the first 15 minutes. And it's going to be a really long night for you to be a zombo in the cold, chilly northern Washington nights when, I mean, yeah, somebody with a rapid strike could just sit there for hours. It's so much fun. Or in my case, Rapid Madness, because that thing would be infinitely better for me. But I'm kind of rambling at this point. The only point I really wanted to get across is you don't have to dual wield. Can you? Yes. Do you have to single wield? No. Virtually no point do you ever have to single wield a blaster. Ever. It's not a requirement. We have been Nerf warring before the single wieldable blasters have existed. Sure, we had things like the Ratchet Blast and the Strong Arm of Yore and the Nitro Quad and that weird Perceptor thing that could fire from your eye by clicking a button. Yeah, we had a lot of options back in the day, but none of them were really practical. This is the first time we've got something that's practical. And while I'm not going to say the hammer shot's a bad blaster, it's totally fun. But at the same time, it's like, what's the point? Why do you have to have this blaster? You don't. You want to have it, and that's perfectly acceptable. But at the end of the day, when somebody drops it from a cannon and just launch 6 darts at you before you even know what's going on with your and you're out, you gotta wonder what the hell you were thinking, buddy. Stop thinking you have to single wield and you have to dual wield, because it's just not important. And most of all, it's not really that useful. You can have fun with it, but nothing's stopping you from keeping one of these on your belt, and when something comes up, simply pulling it out and shooting once and sending 3 darts in a pretty big size footprint on anybody in front of you. And yeah, even if I wanted to, I could definitely lock down... Oh, try to move. Anybody try to move right now. Pop up from cover, see what happens. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get 2 of you. I may even get 3 of you. God, it's never been... This makes me feel so irresponsibly overpowered holding 2 of these right now. Oh my gosh. I love the sledge fire. Oh man. But I have rambled enough. I don't even think I've made my point. But go ahead and leave your comments in the boxes below and tell me how just wrong I am. Again, I have no problem with you wanting to dual wield it, but when you're making all these excuses to why you have to, it angers the crap out of me. You don't need to have an excuse not to like something. You don't need to have an excuse to like something. You just have to like it or dislike it. And that's kind of where we are at. I'm still going to say at the end of the day, the strong arm is the better secondary. It can do things that maybe your primary can't do, like slam fire, or maybe you can't, you can't rapidly fire off 6 shots. It's one or the other. When with this thing, what does this do? It shoots 1 dart one-handed. What's the point? Virtually, I could have a rampage on my back and pull it out really quick and shoot once. Heck, I could prime it against my leg. Heck, you can prime this against your leg. Heck, you can prime a diatron against your leg. There's so many other options out there than just the hammer shot. So please, for the love of God, unless you really like the hammer shot, don't think like you have to use it. Well, there's just a lot of other options out there. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I'm done rambling. Walcom out.